What is going on? Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and boy, do we have a live episode for you all today. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Got a couple different segments that we are going to get into, but before we get into any of that, I want to make sure that I give some shout outs because we already have 55 of you hanging out, having a good time in the chat. Producer Reed just told me that it's actually 67, whatever this means. The kids keep doing this. I don't know what any of it means, but apparently it's a big deal. Go down below in the comments and spam C because we're going to be giving shout outs to all of you. I see Mike hanging out in the chat. I see Elite, Ty Man, the Buckeye. What's going on? Seahawk fan Jay, how are you? Good to see you. AR, what up? Mike, how's it going? My good friend Smoke Burp, of course, is in the chat. Good to see ya. Love it, love it, love it. Love it. William, how you doing? Good to see you. 77 viewers in here. Wow, that's 3 more than my favorite number. David, how's it going? Kevin, how's it going? Mike, Xander the Great. Max, you're my favorite. That reminds me, I did forget to introduce the most important man on the show today, and that is, of course, Producer Reed. Producer Reed, what up, dude?
That is just so not true.
That is.
How could that be true when I just have this tiny little box?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
You're the bigger camera.
Here's the thing. You press like 4 buttons, and I don't know what any of them do, but somehow I end up on the screen. So if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know. I would not know. What's up, Paulie?
You've been in this chair.
I do not know. I've never, nope, not once. I don't sit in chairs, actually. I just stand. I refuse to sit. Anti-sitting. What's up, Victor Jones? Good to see ya. David, what's up? Love it. Roman Ludwig, good to see you. AR, go Hawks, baby. Love it. 79 viewers in the building right now. 11 likes. Love it. We're going to get those like numbers up as well. Mike, what's going on? Let's get the win this weekend. Absolutely need it, Mike. Absolutely need it. Must win. Bob Watson, how's it going? Go Hawks. What most people don't realize is every game is a must win, according to me. Because if you go into a game thinking you can lose it, well, then you probably will. VGX, what's going on? How are you? Keith Thomas, BT, what up? Max, blue and green all day. I'll tell you what, I got some really good news, Reed. I don't know if I talked your ear off about this yet. Reed and I sit next to each other at work. We're basically BFFs. We got the bracelets coming in. Central Washington Wildcats are the free game this week at the Lone Star Network.
Who do they play?
Those idiots at University of Texas Permian Basin. The Roadrunners.
Ugh.
We're going to beat that, what.
How could you be the Roadrunners? That's just, ugh.
Hey, this isn't a basketball show, but Shams Charania, LeBron James, he's going to miss 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, no. What, because of his butt?
Sciatica.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know he had butt issues.
Yeah.
LeBron has butt issues. Who knew? Mike, I'm assuming that's San Antonio, Texas. I love that. I love that. David, every game's important. I just got that drilled into me by my old football coach, Coach Chris Fisk over at Central Washington University. If you have a kid who's good at football, you should send him that way. If you want your questions in on the show, you're going to use the hashtag Seahawks or you'll send in a super chat and we'll get you on the show for sure. So here's how it works. At the very end, so we got 3 segments today. At the very end, we're going to answer your questions. So the way to get your questions up on the show, you got to use that hashtag Seahawks or you send in a super chat. If you send in that super chat, we'll throw you right to the very front. Ian did it last time. Xander did it as well. That allowed those two not only to get onto the show, but get onto a video that we put on the channel later on in the week. So if you want to make sure that you get in on the action, you get in on the show, we answer your question, and you get to be a part of a VOD, you're going to want to send in that super chat. That's okay. I say words that I don't know what they mean anyways. So today, coming up, we're going to do a show about how everyone is hurt. I don't know if you realize that, but if you've seen the Seahawks, their latest injury report, it's massive. It was so big, Reed could not put the picture in the show. We had to make 2 separate graphics for all of the injured players on your Seattle Seahawks. We got to talk about who's on the list. Devon Witherspoon, Ernest Jones IV. There's some big names on it. Are they going to be able to play? And who's already listed as out? We got to have that conversation. Look, every game is important. I think the Seahawks can win, but they have to do these certain things that I'm going to talk about in the second segment. And then, of course, we already talked about everyone's favorite, the mailbag, the mail sack, whatever you would like to call it. It's a show where you get your questions in and you get your answers sent in for you. Look at that. We already have Xander. He's back. He's a member of the Hall of Fame, by the way, Reed. I went and put him in on the Seahawks Hall of Fame, so we'll make sure we get him up here in a second, and we'll get him up on the helmet as well. Mike sending in questions as well. Elite sending in questions. I love that. Remember, if you want to get your questions in, you have questions. I've got answers. So does Reed. We'll make sure that we answer them in today's show.
You have all the answers?
No, because nobody's perfect except for one person.
Colin.
My mother.
Oh.
Maybe Colin.
Producer Colin, too.
Maybe producer Colin. Maybe producer Colin as well. Yeah, smoke burp. I don't love where we're at with that one. Not going to lie. Don't love where we're at with that one. But hopefully, he should be ready to go here. We got 66 people in the building right now. And Xander is leading the charge. What's up, Xander? Let's go Seahawks. Absolutely love it. Xander's a Hall of Fame member here. Thank you so much for sending in the super, Xander. Appreciate it. Remember, Xander had some great questions last time. Xander, feel free to send in some questions as well. Got to get ready for this game. Greedy, I can't answer that question because you didn't use the hashtag Seahawks.
Just copy and paste it and do hashtag Seahawks before or after.
There you go. You heard the man, the most important man on the show today. If you do what Reed says, we'll try and get your question up on the show. Mike, great job following along. Lucas, I love it. You got your question in, firing, clicking on all cylinders. The Seahawk fan, Jay? That's okay. I knew. Well, let's put a space. Producer Reed said put a space between Seahawks and who. But otherwise, you're following directions.
It's not like like we just do it just to
there you go. He did it. He fixed it. I saw it. He fixed it. I saw it. He fixed it. Good job, Greedy.
It's not a do this because we say so. It's the software pulls it from the chat. And if it's not specifically that thing, that it just takes that little thing and pulls it. If it's not actually that, then we can't put it on. We want we want all the questions on here.
Agreed. We want to get as many questions in as possible because honestly, this show would not be possible without you, the fans. We would not be able to be here if it wasn't for you guys. We wouldn't be able to put on the watch parties that we do, the lives that we do. So please make sure that you send in your hashtag Seahawks or send in a super chat just like Xander did with a question on it. Not only will you get shown on today's video, today's live, you're also going to get shown on the video. It's going to come out on Saturday. That's how ahead of the game I am. I know when that video is coming out, Saturday. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do that as well. But you'd have to be subscribed to be hanging out with us here in the chat. So I already know that you're a real one, you're a loyal one, and we love and appreciate each and every one of you. Spock, it's smooth, bro. It's smooth. All right, let's do this. We're at 65 viewers hanging out with us right now. We have 30 likes. Let's like the video. Let's get those like numbers up. What'd you say, 35 or 40? 35 or 40? What you want, Producer Reed?
Give me 40.
40. All right, we get that like number up to 40. We'll start going with our first segment. Maybe Spock won't think it's so rough then. Peyton's music, how you doing? Good to see you. That's okay. Well, we know who you meant. We know what team you were rooting for. We know what team you wanted.
Reverse psychology. You pick the Jags because they're going to lose.
That's right. I'm sure last time you picked Seahawks over the Bucks, the wrong thing happened. So maybe pick Jacksonville, the right thing will happen. We need 2 more likes. Let's do it. Michael 808, good to see you. We're at 38 likes. Let's get to 40 and we'll rip through this first segment. Boom! Boom, boom, boom. Best fans in the business here at Seahawks Today. We asked for 40. What did they do? They overdelivered. delivered. Got us to 43 there. Love it. Xander, the man, the myth, the legend. Xander's going to be on the mailbag. I can't wait to go in and answer his question. Classic Xander. He's always getting in a twofer. I love it. He's always getting in a twofer. He's a smart guy there. Getting in a couple. Xander, what's up? Who's still out in free agency that you guys think we should get? How do you guys feel about Sammy Boy? I'll answer the second part first. Love Sam Darnold right now. I think there's a lot of people that have watched a couple videos that have come out recently from me and think that I hate Sam Darnold. Incorrect. I think he's elite. I'm one of the leaders of his propaganda train. I think you saw an instant knee-jerk reaction that I need to dive a little bit more into the film, and as soon as I did, I think you saw some videos that came out where I blamed the correct parties for the mistakes that they had on Sunday. I love the way he's playing right now. He's playing like a top 10 QB in the NFL, and I think that Sam Darnold does give you a chance, not just to get to the playoffs, but to win playoff games. Not just to be a wild card team, but to potentially be an NFC West champion. So make sure that when you see people that are upset with me on my takes with Sam Darnold, you defend me, please. I appreciate it. I love Sam Darnold. I think he's been absolutely fantastic this year. Who's still out in free agency that you guys think we should go and get? That's an interesting question because I think if you're looking at a free agent pickup, you're either looking at a older player, like an Odell Beckham Jr. type, which you don't want Odell Beckham Jr. Right. You're looking at an older player, though, that isn't on a team right now because, well, they're old, or you're looking at a player that has their own type of issues, right? Like I know C.J. Gardner-Johnson was a free agent for a couple of weeks. I think he just got picked up by the Ravens, if I remember correctly. I don't think that free agency is the way to go. I think if you're the Seahawks, you make a trade for somebody. There's going to be quite a few teams that I think have to kind of look at themselves as you get close to that trade deadline that's coming up at that first week of November, if I remember correctly. And they have to decide, are you going to be a playoff team or are you not going to be a playoff team? And are you not going to be a playoff team for an extended period of time? I think that you can look at the Cleveland Browns and their recent moves, and that tells you what this team thinks they are going to be, right? The Cleveland Browns traded Joe Flacco. They traded Newsome. They're trading multiple pieces from this team because they think that they're not going to be a playoff team this year. They're not going to be a playoff team next year. They're not going to be a playoff team the year after that. And so what are they doing? They're hitting the rebuild button. So can the Seahawks go out and find a team that's in that spot and try and make a trade? I certainly hope so. I think that there is some anger that Seattle didn't try harder with Cleveland trying to go and get Newsome because he was clearly on the trading block, and there's clearly some disgruntledness towards Woolen. And frankly, I think that was a trade that could have potentially worked. The other one that you're starting to see pop up right now is that Cincinnati called Seattle about Drew Lock. And Seattle wasn't willing to move on from Drew Lock. Now, I think that's because you haven't seen quite the progression that you'd want from Jalen Milroe. But I think what's more important, too, for you is you haven't seen Milroe get to a spot that you can trust him as your two. So you need to keep Drew Lock because you didn't want to go and try and pick up a free agent QB. You didn't want to try and get like Jake Browning back from Cincinnati. And you just kind of had to make a move there where, hey, you kept your piece because you wanted to make sure that you didn't get rid of a quality backup in the NFL. So there's my answers there. I don't think there's anyone in free agency that you really want to jump on or anything crazy like that. I appreciate all of you who have subscribed. Make sure you do. It is free. If you're interacting with us in the chat, that means you are subscribed. You're a real one. We love and we appreciate you. Now, if you have friends that bleed Seahawks blue and green, bring them in. Send them the videos. Tell them to subscribe to the channel. We've got great content coming out every single day. We want to make sure that the most amount of Seahawk fans come in, hang out with us, have a great time. And if you're not doing anything on Sunday, come and join us in our watch party. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be me and a producer. Unfortunately, not going to be producer Reed. Unfortunately, not going to be producer Colin. But it is going to be a producer who used to spend a lot of time on this channel. So very excited to bring that person back into the fold, back over to Seahawks. I have a great time with that person. I am going to keep it secret, though, until we get to Sunday. All right, Light Shadow Onyx, what's up? How you doing? Light Shadow Onyx is one of my favorite people on Twitter. We just constantly are having conversations about the Seahawks. I love Light Shadow Onyx. Now, Light Shadow Onyx does call me on my you-know-what. If I'm wrong, he lets me know. Or they let me know. We're going to say that. How likely Seahawks will trade for Max Crosby? I want them to. Reed wants them to. Everyone in the world, except for Mitchell Renz, our great host over at Raiders, want the Seahawks to trade for Max Crosby. I don't see it happening. He just signed a brand new deal. The amount of first-round picks that you're going to have to give up is staggering, right? Like, Max Crosby is top 5 defensive end in the NFL right now, like, fairly easily. And I would make the argument that some of his skill set when it comes to leadership, when it comes to not being injured, to constantly being out there on the field, I think it's more important than some of the guys who are better skill set-wise, like a Nick Bosa, right? Joey Bosa. Guys who are really great when they're healthy, but they never are healthy. Max Crosby never misses games. He never misses time. I just don't see the Raiders moving on from him. I would love Seattle to get him, but I don't see you getting him for less than 2 first-round picks, and I don't think John Schneider's going to ever do that again after the Jamal Adams fiasco. We'll say it there. Smoke burp, I do agree. He is fantastic. All right, we asked you to get us to 40 likes. You guys overachieved. We're at 50 right now. We got 94 of you hanging out with us, so we are going to get into our first video of the day. This is the latest update on your Seattle Seahawks injury report. Right now, unfortunately, everyone is hurt. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and everyone's hurt for your Seattle Seahawks. You can go down the list right now. This is just 5. This is half of the list. Nicky Manwari, Derek Hall, Ernest Jones, Josh Jones, DeMarcus Lawrence. The list goes on and on and on. It's offense. It's defense. Running backs, cornerbacks, defensive tackles. Everyone is out. Or are they? Everyone's on the injury report. Are they going to be available to play and perform on Sunday? I'll let you know in today's video. All right, I got to get a vibes check. I got to get a how we feeling. Let me know down below in the comments, because right now you just went through. You saw the Seahawks injury report. 10 players deep. Are you feeling good about Sunday? Are you feeling bad? Let me know down below. So we've got some injury tiers going on right now for your Seattle Seahawks. I've gone through and I've kind of figured out my, hey, we're probably okay. It's just precautionary. I found I'm going to keep my fingers crossed because I think these guys will play, but I'm not sure. And a couple guys have already been given that big X. Hey, man, they're not going. They're already out. So we're going to go through that in today's video. The first list of guys are players that I think should be able to go out and play. Now, 2 players on this list that we're going to get into, they were limited participants in practice. That's a good sign. That means on a Wednesday, they're already getting out, moving around, running around. I'm pretty sure they're going to be good to go. 2 of these guys did not practice this week so far. I still think they're going to be okay to play. I don't think that the injury issues are as bad as everyone might think that they are. I think the minute that you see someone get hurt pretty early in the week, or a surprising type of injury of like, hey, I didn't expect that guy to be there. Why is that guy there? I think sometimes that can be scary, but I also think that with this case, it's just, hey, someone's getting a veteran day. Now, the first player that I want to talk about is Seattle safety Nick Emanwari. Now, the reason I think that he should play this Sunday is because high ankle sprains can be very tricky. Not to, pump my own tires here. I played football for a little bit. I had a couple of sprained ankles. They can be weird. One day, hey, man, it feels great. You're out there running around. The next day, it swells up a little bit as it's trying to heal. So you got to take a couple of days off. Then it swells back up the next time you go and move around, but it swells up a little bit less. I think that's what Nick Emanwari was dealing with, and that's why he was a limited participant on Wednesday's practice. When you look at his full season right here, it says 2 games played. Honestly, it really should be like 1 game and 5 plays, but I can't say that. We don't have the ability to do that. So Nick Emanwari has really gone through and done this in 1 game, getting limited snaps, right? Eamon is your big safety. He's the type of player who's coming in when a team is in a 12 personnel situation where they have a big tight end or they have a taller slot wide receiver. Of course, now you show me you can do that. But what Nick Eamon has done when he's played is play with his hair on fire. He's played downhill. Getting tackles in the backfield is huge for this defense from that safety position because most offensive linemen are not going to count him into their count when they are run blocking. Most offensive linemen are going to ignore a safety. You can't do that with Nick Eamon. That now leaves more one-on-one matchups for linebackers, defensive linemen. Frankly, it opens up your defense. I think that Eamon is going to be good to go and that he'll be playing in that big nickel package. The next guy that I'm talking about is Ernest Jones IV. He did not practice. I think everyone was shocked when they saw him pop up on the injury report. Frankly, when he came out with, oh, hey, it's a shoulder injury, my head immediately went to that play on the goal line against Rachaad White where he just absolutely smoked the poor running back, put him in the dirt. I think that Ernest Jones, this is just a veteran day. Hey, man, you've been in the league a little bit. You're a little bit sore. You're a little bit nicked up. Let's take a Wednesday off so that you're 100% ready to go. Because Seahawks cannot be without their top tackler this game. When you have a guy that's already 10 tackles ahead of everybody else on your team, you got to get him out on the field. Here's the part that's crazy as well. It's not listed. I did this on purpose. Ernest Jones not only leads your team in tackles, he leads your team in interceptions as well. That's how vital your middle linebacker is. That's how worried most people were when they saw that he was on the injury report. That's why I think we're going to be okay. I think it was just a veteran day. I expect him to go out there, move around a little bit today. I expect him to move around a little bit on Friday, and I expect him to be ready to go on Sunday. Now, Reed and Russell. This is talking about Jaron Reed, Brady Russell. Jaron Reed got a vet day. I talked about Ernest Jones needing a vet day. Jaron Reed's going to probably need like 6 or 7 of these this year. Leonard Williams as well. They're just older players. They play a more difficult, more beating, more bruising type of position. Expect them to consistently need those extra days, especially as the season goes on. Brady Russell was a full participant in practice. He just had like a wrist thing. It was something that had been bugging him. I expect him to go. He's a key special teamer for the Seahawks. Now we're going to get into our fingers crossed category. These are our guys that I'm hopeful they're going to play, and we're probably not going to know if they're not going to play or they are going to play until the very last minute. But I am hopeful that we'll see all 4 of these guys on the field, at least see 3 out of the 4. We're going to start with DeMarcus Lawrence. Lawrence is expected to practice later on this week. That was something that kind of came out early on. Lawrence was dealing with that quad bruise. He got messed up in the Arizona Cardinals game, missed the last game, and boy, was his presence felt, right? When you don't have a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence setting the edge, you saw Tampa Bay was able to get the edge a couple times on key rushes, including that one that got the first down at the end of the game to basically ice it. You need DeMarcus Lawrence out there, plus he opens up pass rushing lanes for the rest of your team. Devon Witherspoon also expected to be out and practicing later on this week. He's dealing with that MCL bruise. What worries me with Witherspoon is he missed 2 games, then he comes back for Arizona. At the end of that Arizona game, he was starting to get kind of cooked a little bit by Marvin Harrison Jr., showing, hey, he might not actually be 100% healthy like we were hoping he was. And then he had to miss this week. I'm a little bit worried about where he's at because you need him 100% healthy to get this defense rocking and rolling the best way that it can. Mike McDonald did have this to say earlier on, and this is how I can say with confidence that these 2 are supposed to come back and practice at some point this week. Spoon and D-Law this week, they're going to try and practice in the middle of the week. No injury designation as of yet, but we're going to wait until the middle to late in the week, and then they're going to take it from there. In my eyes, this is Mike McDonald basically saying, hey, we expect them to practice. We expect them to be ready to go, but sometimes setbacks happen. Will they play? I told you I think that they will. I don't think Mike McDonald comes out and says what he says if Witherspoon and DeMarcus Lawrence aren't going to play. Do you think they'll play? You're going to go down in the comments and say, yes, they'll play, or no, they won't. I'm going to talk to you about the rest of the guys on the Seahawks injury report, but before I do, I have to tell you about today's great sponsors, and that is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. On Sunday, I got a nice little 2-pick power play. Sam Darnold more on his passing yards. Daniel Jones against the Cardinals defense? Come on now. More on his passing yards as well. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. This is my biggest fingers crossed of the week. I can't believe I'm going to say this. When you don't have Devon Witherspoon, when you don't have Julian Love, you really feel it as a secondary when Woolen goes down. And he went down in this game. He gets that knee to the helmet. Look, I know the secondary wasn't doing great before he came out, but you didn't get a single stop once he left that game. He's now in concussion protocol. And so there's a little bit of concern of, is Woolen going to be able to go? Is he not going to be able to go? Brady Henderson, a great beat reporter for the Seattle Seahawks, did tweet this out yesterday with a picture of Woolen out at practice. Woolen left the Bucs game with a concussion, he says, practicing today as a limited participant. Doesn't mean that he's cleared concussion protocol, but it does mean that he's in an advanced stage, and so he's able to do some on-field work. What that means to me, and after seeing the video, tells me that he's actually got a fighting chance to go out there and play this week. It's not like Jake Bobo's concussion, where not only did you have 2 weeks of practice missed, you ended up not being able to get him until week 2 of the season, so 3 full weeks where he had to go through that concussion protocol. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Woolen is able to get out there and play for your Seattle Seahawks in this one. I have no read on Julian Love. I wish I could stand up here and tell you, hey, he's going to go, or even, no, there's no shot he's going to play. Julian Love, too injured, too beat up, not happening. I have no read on it. I'd like to come up here as your Seahawks expert and say definitively, this is what's going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. I don't have it, man. I just don't have it. Every time I say, hey, Julian Love, it's going to be okay, he's going to be back, it seems like he ends up having to sit out and miss a game. Every time I tell you, well, if he missed that game, he's probably going to miss this game, he comes out and plays. I have no feel for it, and he probably has no feel for his hamstring right now either. It's clearly something that's bothering him, and at this point, I'd rather have him sit out an extra week or 2 if it means getting him back 100% healthy. Because right now, Seattle needs him badly. That secondary was lost out there. Tayo Kutta multiple times went to the wrong wide receiver in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that left another receiver completely wide open, all by themselves, running scot-free. Frankly, it was brutal. It was embarrassing. You need Julian Love back out there commanding your defense and getting everyone in the right spot, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint as well. The last 2 guys have no shot of getting out there and going. Josh Jones, your backup tackle, has already been ruled out for this game. He's not going to play. And Derek Hall, he's dealing with that oblique injury. That's that muscle right here on your core. If you're really jacked, it creates that V shape. Clearly, I don't have it, right? Derek Hall, I don't think you're going to see him until after the bye week, unfortunately. And this is going to sound really weird because I know there's a lot of Seattle Seahawks fans who might not necessarily be in the weeds as much as we are here at Seahawks Today, because I know those of you who are listening are true blue Seahawk fans and know the ins and outs of this team. You are going to miss Jones and Hall. Now, Jones you haven't missed quite as much because Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross are playing at an elite level, but most importantly, they've been healthy. But if you lose a tackle, you're now not going to your third string tackle, essentially your backup tackle because he's the swing on both. You're really going to your 4th tackle. That's a big deal. You saw it last year in the right tackle position when there was a constant rotation because Lucas was out. The offense didn't move as well. You couldn't run the ball and your pass protection fell apart. Josh Jones is a great backup tackle in the NFL. So to not have him could potentially spell disaster. You saw what happens with the Seahawks when Derek Hall's out because DeMarcus Lawrence was already out in that game. So you had to go to your backup's backup to go and play that rush edge position because you didn't have Jared Ivey active, who's the 3rd stringer in that spot. So you had to go to your 4th string option in the game You are going to miss Derek Hall. He's been great this year. He's getting a ton of pressures. He's one of the top pressure guys in the NFL. I believe he's top 10. He might be top 5. He was at one point earlier this year. Those are 2 sneaky big misses for you. I told you already, this injury report scares me. Not just because of the length that it has, but the amount of players in the certain positions that you have. A lot of secondary players, a lot of defensive linemen. 2 position groups that really struggled against Tampa Bay, and this is a game that you just can't afford to drop. You can't go to 500 going into that Houston game because that Houston game just got a lot scarier as well. Seattle has to get healthy on defense. We've seen what this team can do, even at 80%. But if any of these guys aren't able to go, you're going to be looking like you did against Tampa Bay again, where you were at 60% at best. You got torched. 38 points given up at home. That can't happen. Can't happen if you want to be a postseason team. We saw it last year. Early losses cost you playoffs in the end. Can't let that happen again. Make sure to follow me on X. I'm always tweeting out the earliest Seahawks news that I know as soon as I know it. So you're going to want to make sure that you follow me over there to get the latest breaking news. And of course, subscribe to the channel. We got Seahawks content coming out every single day. You don't want to miss it. All right. Will they play? Let us know down below in the comments right now. Do you think Spoon and D-Law are going to play? Yes or no? Yes or no? Alexis, I'm sorry. This is going to be one of the few times that I hope you're wrong. This is going to be one of the few times I hope you're wrong. Brendan, what's up? Hey, I'm glad that you've tailed me a couple times. Good to say. Brendan's a good Instagram follow. I'll tell you that right now. Producer Reed. Yeah, the defense is injury proof. I love that. Brendan's a real one. Brendan. Yeah. I'll tell you this right now because I want to answer it because it's a great question. Brendan, use hashtag Seahawks. Retype that in and use hashtag Seahawks because I want to talk about that. I've gone back through. I've seen the all 22. It's fascinating what Baker was doing, or frankly, what Tampa Bay was doing to the defensive line, and the mistakes and the mental miscues that the Seahawks made in the secondary that, frankly, they should not have been making. They should not have been making the mistakes that they were making the other day. Make sure you use the hashtag Seahawks if you want your question on the mailbag. That'll be our third segment, which we're going to do at the very end of the show. Or you send in a super chat. Xander's already done it. Light Shadow Onyx has already done it. We've answered their questions, and they will be on the mailbag too. So not only do you want to be on a live show hanging out with us, getting your voice heard, you're also going to be on our Saturday video. I want to make sure that you know that. So if you do, that's right. Feature. Big.
Imagine
big
you just pull up a YouTube video about the Seahawks.
And you're on it?
A couple thousand views, and your username is on it. I'd be pretty hyped.
Pretty awesome. Plus, you could put your cutest picture on your profile and work out great. You're good, Brandon. You'll get it on there. I'm not worried about it. At all. I'll tell you right now, it's a great question there. Hopefully we'll get to that one there in a little bit. I'll tell you though, we have some just great fans, man. We have some great fans here at Chat Sports and at Seahawks Today.
There's a reason why it's the 12th man.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Like
100%. 100%. But I love all the where I think some fan bases, and this isn't to call out the other fan bases, this is just to kind of prop up what the Seahawks are. It's a smart fan base. It's a fan base that gets football. They get ball. They do
I do agree with that
a
lot because I've seen a lot of fan bases, especially working here at Chat Sports. Because I since I'm literally, you said I'm not here with you Sunday, but I have produced it.
Yep, you have.
I produce a lot of shows for teams in this company. The Seahawks fans, you guys know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Like 100%.
Yes. Like, how many other channels do you think are getting, hey, how would a trade work for Max Crosby? Hey, how should Seattle look at certain free agents that are out there that they're bringing in for trials? No one talks about that at the other channels, and that's not the other channel's fault. That's just because the other fan bases aren't asking those questions. And it's not their fault either. It's just because they don't know. They just don't know. Seahawk fans, they get into the nitty gritty. They dive in. I mean, shoot. I had a real one today, Michelle. Great Seahawks fan. Very excited. Going to go to his first Seattle Seahawks game. Been a fan for basically since the inception. Inception of the team. He's going to go to the Arizona Cardinals game in Seattle. First time he's ever been to Seattle. Going to go. We've been chatting about it the whole time. Has great seats. I've been giving him some restaurant recommendations. It's going to be awesome for him. He was in there talking to me about win percentages based on plays run. Plays run and how that equates to the win percentage of a team. Just insane stats to know, to look up, to be aware of. Things that, even I don't really look into. I'm not afraid to get into real football nerd speak. Let's have a conversation about inside, outside zone. Who are you calling the mic? Do you need to push the call because of a blitzing backer? Are you going to add in a safety into the count? Are you not? Do you trust, McDonald's doing this with his defense? Right now, McDonald's doing a thing where he's not bringing a lot of pressure because he hasn't had to. Well, he might start having to because teams are now loading in their offensive line protection. They're going 7-man protection. So now you have basically a double team on 3 out of the 4 guys, and then you leave one guy.
And then you leave somebody who is an elite quarterback like Baker Mayfield, who
All
will
by
sit
himself.
back in the pocket and dice you up.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing. It had worked for the first 4 weeks. It didn't work in week 5 because you're going up against a guy who's an MVP. Those are things that are easy for me to talk about. Love getting into it. I have Seahawks fans that are, like I said, like Michelle, in the comments, in my DMs, that are giving me new things that I have to go and research and go have to learn, and he already knows it. So it's stuff like that just very much impresses me about the Seattle Seahawks fan base and the fan base that we have here in the 12.
Adam Baum, you don't have to go back 18. I'll show you right now.
Oh, there you go. That's right. Appreciate it. This is why producer Reed's one of the best in the business. So right now the Seahawks have an injury report. This is the first part. So originally we tried to get all 10 in. This was the best way to do it so that way everyone can see. So Nicky Manwari, Derek Hall is going to be out. He's not going to play. He's out. Don't expect him to play in this game. Frankly, I don't expect him to play next week against Houston. Ernest Jones was kind of a surprise shoulder issue. Hopefully he'll be back and be a limited participant here soon. You don't want to be without your middle linebacker who is leading your team in tackles and tied for the lead in interceptions. You just can't have that. Josh Jones, he's not going to go. Now, if Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas are healthy, they don't have any issues during the week, they don't get hurt in the game, probably fine. But if there's an injury, you don't go to your backup tackle. You're actually going to your 4th string tackle or your number 4 tackle, essentially. It's not your 4th string. Technically, it'd be your 3rd string, but you get what I'm saying. DeMarcus Lawrence, we're going to be hopeful that he's ready to go. He's dealing with that quad bruise. It sounds like from what Mike McDonald is saying, him and Devon Witherspoon are going to come out and practice this week. To me, that tells me if those two practice, they're going to play. I can't guarantee that, though. Reek Woolen, he is moving around at practice. He's still in concussion protocol. So the video that I have seen of Reek Woolen from Wednesday's practice, he was fully suited and running around fully suited. That's a good sign. Because sometimes what they'll have guys do is they'll be like, oh, he's a limited participant. What that meant is he's just running around looking like me and Reed right now. Probably not even wearing a hat. Well, if you're able to already trust the player to have his helmet on with the concussion, and if he comes out of it without having headaches or anything like that, that might be able to get him back out on the field a little bit sooner. Brady Russell, full participant, just kind of had a wrist thing that he was dealing with, and then Jaron Reed got a vet day. Don't be shocked if you see a lot of vet days for Jaron Reed, Leonard Williams. I'm hoping Ernest Jones is a veteran day as well. Don't be shocked if Byron Murphy gets one. I know he's only a second-year player, but the position that he plays is kind of brutal. DeMarcus Lawrence, don't be shocked if he has some veteran days coming up as well. Remember, just want to make sure that we get this up here for you just in case you forgot or you just got in here like our good friend Ian. What's up, Ian? I see you down below. Ian's a great dude. He's asked some questions. He was in the last mailbag, actually. So hopefully Ian's able to make it back on. If you want a chance to be featured on our Saturday show, you're going to send in the hashtag Seahawks or send in that super chat. Obviously, that'll be our last segment for today. The full video will get pushed out later. Make sure you go and follow me on social media. What you don't realize right now is I am 11. Had to do quick math. 11 followers on Twitter away from 900 Twitter followers. So I appreciate each and every one of you who head on over there and follow me on Twitter. As soon as Seattle Seahawks have breaking news, I make sure to fire it off, tweet it out. It's the first place that you're going to see it. Now, don't get me wrong. I come in, I make a video as quick as I possibly can, but I always tweet out first. So you want to go there. Instagram as well. The second thing I do is I go and post that video right onto Instagram. So make sure that you follow me over there and protect me from the Baker Mayfield stands. We had a reel. Look, it went a little viral. Not full viral. Like, we didn't have to worry about, wearing masks or anything. But it went a little viral, and they were mean to me in there. They were mean. What kind of cookie do you want, Seahawks fan? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you there. Don't know what to tell you there at all. Alexis, that's awesome. That's a really cool memory. I remember my first time heading to a Seahawks game. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. There's 100 of you in here right now. We're at 69 nice likes. 72 when we do the second segment. 72 and we'll do the second segment. We'll get it rocking and rolling, and that'll give you guys plenty of time also to get your questions in, because you have questions, we have answers. We want to make sure that we get those taken care of for you. So if you haven't had a chance to like the video, head on in and smash that like button right now. Ooh, 70. We're so close. Just need 2 more. 2 more, and we'll get this one up and rocking and rolling. These are where the true Seahawk fans are, the true real ones. Bang! Look at that. 73. Ask and they deliver. We got the best fans here at Seahawks Today. Best fans on Chat Sports. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for going in and giving us that thumbs up button. We're at 74 likes. That's the best number on the planet. Why? Darn it. 74 was my number. That's right. 74 was my number. 78 likes. Love it. We're on track. We got 100 likes. Last live. Maybe we'll end up beating it. We got 100 likes in our last live. Let's see if we can go in there and beat the record. I would absolutely love it. All right. We're going to do our second video here to remind you all. The second video will be why the Seattle Seahawks will beat the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and the Seahawks are going to win on Sunday if they follow my very simple game plan. I don't know why John Schneider and Burt Cold and Jody Allen haven't paid me for my takes on your Seattle Seahawks and my keys to victory, because right now I'd have them 5-0. But maybe they will after today's video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Why? It's free. We've got Seahawks content coming out for you every single day that you do not want to miss. And you don't want to miss our watch party on Sunday. We are going to be live an hour before the game, hanging out, talking ball with all the Seahawk fans. Whatever questions you have that you want answered, we are going to do that on the show. And, of course, it's a road game, so you can't go to Lumen Field. Where else would you rather be than hanging out with your buddies, talking some Seahawks football, watching them beat the you-know-what out of the Jacksonville Jaguars? So I have some keys to victory in this game, specifically for me, when I look at how the Seahawks are going into this matchup. I think that there are 4 different ways that they can beat the Jaguars, a couple on offense and a couple on defense. I think the most important thing that the Seahawks can do, though, feed the beast, man. Just get the ball to 11. Right now, Jaxon Smith-Njigba is having the second best receiving season in the NFL. He only trails Puka Nacua, and I think it would be foolish not to find a way to get him the ball, especially when teams make this mistake. Why in the world would you ever put Jaxon Smith-Njigba in single coverage? What does that mean? That means he's in man-on-man against another player. No one in the world can run with Jaxon Smith-Njigba. No one in the world can keep up with his route running abilities. He can cut on a dime. He just gets open. Right now in single coverage, he has the best receiving grade in PFF. He leads the NFL in yards, and he leads the NFL in first downs. That's insane. Teams would be foolish to put him in single coverage, yet they continue to do so. He's been unstoppable. I went through his last 2 years of football. In his last 14 games, he has had 12 of them where he went over 70-plus receiving yards. This year, he did it in every single game. Last year, his last 2 games of the year, he didn't go over 70. In fact, if I move that number just down 1 yard to 69 yards, nice, he would be at 13 out of his last 15. That's how good Jaxon Smith-Njigba is. And when you look at his stats on the year, man, it's just unprecedented the numbers that he's putting up when it comes to a Seattle Seahawk. Now, he only has 2 touchdowns, but that's because he's basically set up touchdowns for everyone else. He's put this team in a position to score, and when he puts them in a position to score, that's when A.J. Barner comes alive. That's when Zach Charbonnet comes alive. Jaxon Smith-Njigba right now is the straw that stirs the drink, because what he does is he gets Seattle into scoring position, and then the big dogs come out. Jaxon Smith-Njigba needs to get the ball basically once a drive, man. If you don't go 3 and out and he doesn't touch the football once, that's offensive malpractice right now. As good as Sam Darnold has been, and frankly, I think he's top 10 in the NFL when it comes to QB play right now, Jaxon Smith-Njigba has been even that much better. He is unbelievable, and he was left off a lot of lists when it came to top 10 wide receivers in the NFL at the beginning of the season. He ain't going to be left off those lists anymore. He isn't going to be left off those lists anymore. Support Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I think that he's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Go spam those 11s if you agree with me in the comments down below. If you're not spamming those 11s, what are you even doing here? You got my number 1 key, feed 11. He's going to help take you to victory. He's going to push you forward. He's going to get you in a position to win this ball game. Make sure the other QB can't feed his targets. Make sure he can't get the ball to Travis Hunter. Make sure he doesn't get the ball out to BTJ, right? Make sure that Trevor Lawrence feels the pressure from your Seattle Seahawks defensive line. They've been elite this year. When you look at what the defensive line is doing when they're rushing 4, only the Denver Broncos have as many pressures as they do. Now, when it says rushing 4, that means that the rest of the Seahawks, the 7 defenders, are dropping back in coverage. There's an old saying in football: if you can get to the quarterback by not blitzing, rushing 4, you are going to win that game 9 times out of 10 because the quarterback doesn't have time to find open targets, and the targets don't have time to get open. Sacks kill drives, and the Seahawks were doing a great job of getting pressure and getting to the point where they could force a lot of those. Last week, though, there was a lot of struggles. And you saw what happens with the Seahawks when that defensive line isn't able to get that pressure. There's been a lot of discourse right now that Mike McDonald needs to start blitzing more. And he did eventually at the end. I would have liked to see him start bringing more fire zones early on. Once it became clear that Tampa Bay was going to have 7 offensive linemen sit in and pass pro for Baker Mayfield. But I still think that this Seahawks defensive line can get it cooking, especially as you get DeMarcus Lawrence back, fingers crossed, from injury. You only got 1 sack last week. That's the difference. Weeks 1 through 4, you were getting in the backfield. You were leading the NFL in pressures. You were getting sacks. You were making big plays. You were making opposing QBs feel uncomfortable. Do it again this week. You can't have a repeat of last week and only get 1 sack. You got lit up by Baker Mayfield. Now, Trevor Lawrence here has only been sacked 6 times, but most of that is on Trevor Lawrence. Now, the offensive line in Jacksonville is good. Don't get me wrong. We'll get into their rushing attack here in a little bit. But what they do a great job of in Jacksonville is getting the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hand fast. 2.6 seconds is faster than what most defensive lines are going to be able to cause pressure and cause havoc for Lawrence. So how do you give the defensive line more time to get there? Well, you lock down in coverage a little bit better. But more importantly, as a defensive lineman, if you're not going to get there, get your hands up. Get your hands up and knock balls down. If you knock balls down early on Trevor Lawrence, that's going to force him to pat the ball a little bit. If he passes the ball a little bit, you're going to be able to get back in there and cause a lot of pressure for Trevor Lawrence. Hey, he's got 5 interceptions on the year. Why don't you force a couple? My third key to victory, I teased it already, and you got to find a way to stop the run, man. You got to find a way to stop the run. This rushing attack for Jacksonville is sneaky really good. I don't know if you know this because it surprised me when I went through all of the information that I needed to go through, but right now, Travis Etienne Jr., he is the 4th leading rusher in the NFL. Etienne has finally looked like the running back that everyone thought he was going to be out of Clemson. He only has 77 carries on the year, which isn't that insane. But that average, that 5.8 yards a carry, is pretty freaking crazy. When you have a running back that's getting that many yards every time he touches the football, you're going to win a lot of football games. You're going to put yourself in a position to wear out other defenses. You saw it on Monday night against Kansas City. They were able to come back in Jacksonville because the KC defense was tired and they couldn't run with them anymore. And that comeback just mounted and mounted and mounted and mounted until Jacksonville got that victory. You got to take the run away. Defensive line has to come up huge again. Your defensive front 7. So now I'm including Tyrese Knight. Now I'm including Ernest Jones IV. I'm including Drake Thomas. If Nicky Manwari's out there in that big nickel spot, I'm including him as well. You have got to get into the backfield and keep Etienne from getting 5 yards a clip. You need to keep him under 3. Because if you're able to do that, then this guy has to beat you. Then you're forcing Trevor Lawrence to beat you. Look, I get it. He had a lot of love coming out of Clemson. He was a can't-miss prospect. He's unfortunately had some shoulder issues. He's had some injuries. You got to force him to beat you. Right now, he barely has over 1,000 yards on the year. He has 1 more touchdown than interception. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. Force that man to beat you. Force him to make the plays. Don't let Etienne Jr. run the ball down your throat and force you to get tired. Go out and find a way to win this game by forcing Trevor Lawrence to throw the football. The last thing that you have to do kind of plays involved with that. Win the frickin' turnover battle. You lost the turnover battle against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it was one of the many reasons why you lost that football game. The Jacksonville Jaguars, defensively, believe it or not, do a really good job of turning teams over. Right now, they forced 5 fumbles. They've recovered 4 of them. In Seattle, you haven't forced any. There's not been a single forced fumble for your Seattle Seahawks, let alone 1 recovered. And Jacksonville has 10 interceptions on the year. That means that Jacksonville has 14 turnovers in that defense. They're going to be coming in. They're going to be punching at the ball. They're going to take chances, try and go for interceptions. Do not allow that defense to force these turnovers. Because if Jacksonville's able to force turnovers on you, that's more time of possession for them. That's more running the football with Etienne Jr. That's more opportunities for Trevor Lawrence to figure out what your defense is doing. That's more opportunities for Jacksonville to beat you. Do not let them create turnovers. Now, when you look on the flip side, do not, and I mean do not, have another game where you don't turn the ball over. Have another game where you don't take the ball away from another team. You need to take the ball away and force turnovers from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So far this year, they've only turned the ball over 6 times. That's why they have a 4-1 record. They continually win the turnover battle. When they win the turnover battle, they win football games. You win the turnover battle in this game. You create multiple interceptions. You force fumbles. You take the ball away and get more time of possession to your offense. You keep their defense out on the field more. It's a simple thing. It's an easy thing to come in here and say, win the turnover battle. It's very important in any football game. It's the most important thing in this football game. These are my keys to victory. I got 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. They are all the most important thing to me. Feed Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Get him the ball. Get quarterback pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Make him uncomfortable in the pocket. It leads to sacks or turnovers, which will be important later. Stop the run. Do not allow Etienne Jr. to run all over you. He's 4th in the NFL right now. Don't let that offensive line get moving forward. And, of course, win the turnover battle. Jacksonville has been elite so far this year in turning the ball over and forcing turnovers and not turning the ball over. You need to flip it around on them in this one. Make sure you subscribe to Seahawks Today for the latest news and information on your favorite team. We have video content coming out every single day you don't want to miss. Until next time, I'll see you later. All right. That was fun. I think JSN is a top 5 receiver in the league. Make sure you go and type 11 down below if you agree with me. We got some takes getting fired off in the chat. I love it. I love it. I love it. Producer Reed's having a great time today. I can tell. He's smiling from ear to ear right now. Right now.
Adam Schefter just said, Chiefs pass rusher Chris Jones called his lack of pursuit on Trevor Lawrence on Monday night a teaching point.
Hey, let's not make that mistake.
Yeah.
Let's not make that mistake.
Go after the quarterback because it's your job.
Yeah. Let's not make that mistake. Let's make sure that our guys are flying around, making big-time plays. Alexis, I would love to see Jared Ivey out there. I think he has a lot of potential too. I think that you greatly missed him. He's that backup edge rusher position. He's really the third string. Why the heck was he not active for that game when you already had DeMarcus Lawrence out? Why was Connor O'Toole active and then not playing? Everyone and their mother was hurt on the D-line. Got to get the young guys out if that's what you want them to do. Brandon, have a good day at work, man. Have a good day at work. All right, it's our last call for the mailbag. Make sure you use the hashtag Seahawks or send in a super chat like our good friends, Light Shadow Onyx or Xander the Great. If you want to make sure that you get your question on the show. The hashtag super chat, we'll answer as many as we can. Unfortunately, we're not always able to get to all of them. We always get to all of the super chat. Yes, of course. Happy to. Happy to. You want Death Zone for LOB Part 2? I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Yep, smoke burp. There were some issues going on in Arizona. There were definitely some issues going on in Arizona.
To sort of revise what you said, he got fined for, like, hitting him. Like,
I didn't know he hit him.
Touching him.
Oh.
Yeah, like he like shoved him.
Really?
That's why he got fined.
I wonder how often
coaches
that
yell.
happens.
Like coaches can yell at their players, but he like made contact with him and like shoved him.
I'll tell you what right now, some of the best cussers are football coaches. Elite yellers and cussers, football coaches for sure. We drink beer and we win. Hopefully it's a rain year. It's a lot of that. Caden, you got to use the hashtag Seahawks. We got it up on the screen. I want to answer that question. I think that's a great question. You got to use the hashtag Seahawks. Alexis, you might have found that player. He's just been hurt a lot this year. You might have found that player. He's just been hurt a lot this year. We got 90 people hanging out, 93 likes, another elite stream for us. Here's what we're going to do. Let's do 3-minute warning. We'll do a 3-minute warning. We're gonna do a 3-minute warning. I'm gonna start the timer, and as soon as that timer ends, we're gonna get into the stopwatch. Okay, so you can see me doing it right here. Timer started. So 3 minutes. You got to get your hashtag Seahawks in. Otherwise, unfortunately, it might not be able to get through. Victor Jones, thank you. Appreciate it. You're a real one. We love having you in here. Greedy Bands, love that question. We'll try and get it up on the show. Caden, great question. Love that. Try and get it up on the show. Remember, if you do end up in the mailbag today, that means you're going to be on our Saturday video on Seahawks Today. You're going to be on a video on the channel. If you send in the super, that makes sure you get in. Hashtag Seahawks, we'll do our best. We'll do our best. I promise that. So if you use the hashtag Seahawks, we'll do our best to get to your question. If you see your question on today's live stream, that means that you'll be on Saturday's video. Ooh. I see what the Seahawks fan Jay is asking. That's interesting. I don't know if it's going to happen anymore. Yeah. It's a really good one. Producer Reed's going through right now. And if your question doesn't get pulled up, direct all your hate to that guy, Bubba. Direct all of it.
It's
I'm just kidding. It's random.
We We can't go longer than a certain number. So.
Oh, I thought my impression is it's random.
Well, no, I pick, but
I was giving you an out.
I pick, but like if you put in multiple questions, I just pick one of your questions. But if it's two really good questions, then yeah, I'll pick both of them. But usually I try and get everyone in. Super chats, skip the line. But yeah, I got a couple queued up. Yeah. If we don't get to it, it's unfortunate. I'm sorry. Just not enough time in the video.
It is what it is. Well, just come back next time.
After the video's done,
yeah.
we can answer them.
We answer questions after, or you can come join us on Sunday. We'll answer more questions there. You can always follow me on social media, DM me, tweet at me, all that stuff. It's great. I respond as quickly as I can. You got 30 seconds left to get your questions in if you want to try and get them answered. This has been an excellent stream. We will stick around for a little bit at the very end as well. Because we like hanging out with you. We like talking with you guys. Like I said, Seahawks Today has some of the best fans, some of the smartest fans, some of the most knowledgeable fans here at Chat Sports. So I want to make sure that you guys get the opportunity to have that conversation with Reed and myself if you'd like to have that. Oh, he is. Look at that. Look at that. All right. I gave you 2 extra seconds. Boom. So just like that, we went a little bit over. We're going to get into today's mailbag. We'll come back, have a nice little chat with everybody as we get in and get out of today's episode. But I want to make sure that I say thank you to everyone who was here and who was a part of the stream. It was a great one. Almost record-setting. Almost record-setting. Really close. We still have a chance. 94. We got to 100 last time. Maybe we'll get over that. Got to get 6 more. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's get into this guy. Here on Seahawks Today, we want to change the mojo. We cannot let one loss turn into 2, turn into 3. Cut it off before it can happen. Make sure that we switch the mojo. Go in and like the video to help the Seattle Seahawks beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm your host of You're all good. We can restart. I went too fast.
I'm not gonna lie. This is a peek behind the curtain. I got distracted by Ian's super chat.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
He super chatted right as we started.
Ian is great at popping in at the very last second.
He popped in and he distracted me. I couldn't get the next graphic ready.
Nope.
It was a good question.
That's a great question. We're gonna answer it, Ian.
I stranded Will in that. So we'll redo.
That's okay. I should have kept. I should have been a professional.
No, that was my fault. We'll see how the sausage is made, Ian.
Yeah.
And everyone, 94 people watching.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna restart that real quick.
It's all good.
Well, how about we restart it with the intro?
Let's do it.
You guys can see the intro. All right, you ready?
Yep. Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we got to fix the mojo. We cannot let one loss turn into 2, turn into 3. We got to flip it around and get the Seahawks back to getting W's here on the channel and in the NFL. So make sure you go in and you like the video. Smash that thumbs up button to help the Seahawks beat the Jaguars tomorrow. We're going to get into our first YouTube comment here. Legion of Boomer. Something tells me that this guy might be a little bit old. How will the Greg Newsome trade affect this game? Hashtag Seahawks. For those of you who don't know, in the dark of night, now I guess probably wasn't dark of night on the West Coast, but here in Dallas, I was literally getting into bed when the news broke that the Cleveland Browns were trading Greg Newsome, their cornerback, over to the Jacksonville Jaguars for one of their cornerbacks as well. I don't think that this is going to affect the game for the Seahawks. In fact, I actually think it might have a negative effect in the immediacy for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that is simply because Newsome doesn't know their defensive system yet. He doesn't know their calls. So the Jaguars traded away a player that was a starter on their team already, and they're bringing in a guy who they traded for on a Wednesday. No shot, and I mean no shot, that he's going to be able to come in and play right away. So I actually think you're going to get a backup there at that cornerback position. So I think it might be more helpful for Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Cooper Kupp, and the rest of that crew. In fact, I think it'll be most beneficial for Cooper Kupp because he's probably going to get that backup corner. Watch out for Yakima's Finest to have a big one. Xander, what's up, man? He's a real one, Hall of Fame member here on the channel. Appreciate you sending in your questions. Gets a little 2-for-1 here. Who's still in free agency that you think that the Seahawks should go out and get? How do you guys feel about Sammy Boy? I'm going to cheat. I'm going to answer the second question first, and then I'll come back to the free agent question. Sam Darnold's been elite. I don't care what anyone says about me right here. I'm a Sam Darnold propagandist, and I will ride for my guy. Sam Darnold has been fantastic for your Seattle Seahawks this season. Now, where you're going to find some question marks with Sam, it's only going to be in late game turnovers. Now, both of them were not his fault. I want that to be very clear. He's clearly trying to dirt the ball against Tampa Bay. And the fumble, I mean, Abe Lucas just got pushed back by Nick Bosa. It was a great play by Bosa. What I would love to see from Darnold in these late games is more like how he looked against the Arizona Cardinals, and I think he will continue to do that. I think he was about to do that against Tampa Bay. You just got unlucky. Sometimes those things happen. Right now in Seattle, you have a top 10, maybe top 8 quarterback in the NFL, and I think he has room to grow. I love everything that Sam Darnold is doing, and I think Seattle has their franchise QB for at least the next 5 to 6 years. I really do. Now, when it comes to free agency, I don't know that there's anyone in free agency that the Seahawks should go after. I do think that there are a couple players that you could go and try and make a trade for. Look for teams that are fire sailing, just like Legion of Boomer came in and talked to us about, the Cleveland Browns. Go see if a team like them, the New Orleans Saints, Carolina Panthers, maybe they want to fire sale an offensive lineman. Maybe they want to fire sale a cornerback that Seattle can bring in. I think that would be a great spot to look. Light Shadow Onyx, what's going on? How are you? How likely are the Seahawks going to be to make a trade for Max Crosby? I think that if Spytech, the general manager out in Las Vegas, called John Schneider tomorrow and said, we're trading Max Crosby, what would you offer for him? John Schneider would be on the phone trying to do everything in his power to get Max Crosby. I don't think that that's going to happen because I don't think Spytech will ever trade Crosby unless Crosby forces his way out. I just don't see that happening. Right now, I think Max Crosby is going to be a Raider for life. He just signed a big new contract. He is the face of that franchise. Unfortunately for Seattle, I just don't see him going anywhere. I think if you're going to make a splash on a big DM like that, your best shot is out in Cincinnati for Trey Hendrickson. We'll see if they're still upset that you didn't trade him, Drew Lock. Ian, what's up, dude? Good to see ya. Great real one here at the channel. Love Ian. Always has good questions. Can the defense survive without most of the starters, especially in the secondary, enough to make a serious run? Well, no. I don't think that they can. And I think that you saw that this last Sunday. You saw what happens when the Seahawks are depleted. They are a very good team when the starters are in. Elite, I might say. But when they don't have their starters in, they fall off a cliff because the NFL has a lot of really good players, but not a lot of really great players, and that's where you see these mistakes. Here's the thing, though, Ian. I don't think that you are going to be without those secondary players for an extended period of time. I really do think that you are going to get Julian Love back sooner rather than later. I don't see you missing him past the bye week. I think that you are going to get Devon Witherspoon back this week. I'm really hopeful. If he's going to start practicing on Thursday and Friday, why can't he play on Sunday? I do want to make sure that I point this out, though. If you look at Baltimore, you look at any of the other teams in the NFL that are really good, that are having down years, they are all having injury issues. I think that Seattle does need to get these guys healthy, and as long as they aren't healthy, you're going to have some of these similar issues continue to pop up. Now, if you can get DeMarcus Lawrence back, maybe that defensive line hides some of the issues you have in the secondary, but right now you need to get healthy, and you need to get healthy really frickin' fast. I think they will, because I think they're going to be a playoff team. The Seahawk fan, Jay. Hashtag Seahawks. If we trade away Reek Woolen, how will it affect our defense? First of all, thanks for joining in, Seahawk fan, Jay. I think that this Sunday, last Sunday, against Tampa Bay, showed you that right now Seattle can't trade Reek Woolen away. I thought they should have traded Reek Woolen away earlier, about 2 weeks ago. I said, hey, your secondary, They're really freaking good. They're in a spot where Darian Kendrick is playing better than you thought. Josh Jobe is playing better than you thought. You can weather the storm. Hey, Devon Witherspoon will be back soon. Trade Woolen. Darian Kendrick is now the nickel, and Devon Witherspoon stays on the outside. We got to see Nehemiah Pritchett play at that cornerback spot. That ain't it. That ain't it, man. He ain't there. Josh Jobe took a slight step back. I mean, it wasn't fair for us to expect him to continue to play at an all-pro level the entire way. He still had a fine game, but it wasn't as good. I think you saw a lot of the missing pieces with Julian Love and Devon Witherspoon, and Woolen was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in that sense. But right now, I mean, shoot, you're an injury away from Woolen having to play because if it's not him, it's Nehemiah Pritchett. Well, that's really freaking bad. I mean, shoot, right now, you're keeping your fingers crossed that you get Woolen to play this week. So I don't know that you can trade him away anymore. I think just the way that this team is built and the depth that you have, I think unfortunately Seattle is going to be stuck with him, and you're not going to get any value in return because I don't think you re-sign him at the end of this season. I want to talk to you and answer more of your questions, but before I do that, I have to talk to you about the proud sponsor of today's episode, and that is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off, which ones are overhyped. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. You can see my Sunday play here. Sam Darnold, more passing yards against Jacksonville. Daniel Jones against the Arizona Cardinals defense, please, more passing yards. You can tail these picks or fade them. Just make sure you do it over at Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. 12th Man Maniac, what's up? How are you? When will Seattle move on from Anthony Bradford? He is clearly the weak link. Hashtag Seahawks. Anthony Bradford's been rough. Anthony Bradford has been rough this season. It is a little bit better. I do want that to be very clear at that right guard spot. He's not as bad as he was last year, but he has been clearly an issue. When I look at Anthony Bradford right now, it is the clear weak link. Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, when you leave them on an island, they've been absolutely fantastic. They've been great this year. Jalen Sundell, he still needs to improve. Right now, he's 31st when it comes to the center position in PFF, and then Gray Zabel has been amazing. Bradford in the run game, he's been great. Pass pro, not so much. So are you going to be able to trade him away and get a piece? Well, if John Schneider's going to do that, he has to do it quickly because that trade deadline is fast approaching. It's going to be here at the beginning of November. I don't know where you're able to move on from him. I think I was having a conversation with Light Shadow Onyx on Twitter. Maybe it was Mike Nintendo Master. But basically, you're probably only going to get a 6th round or a 7th round pick for him. So whatever you decide to do, you better go through it pretty quickly. And I don't think you're going to get a lot of return there. I also think that if you do trade him, you're going to trade him and you're probably going to try and trade away other picks or have another trade in the works because there's a reason why Anthony Bradford's starting. He's your best option. So if you move on from him, you better find a better option to come in and fill his place. Mike, what's up? Love it. It's simply Mike. The Seahawks will win if we get a good O-line push and are able to rush and pass effectively. First of all, Mike, I appreciate it. Thank you. This is a great question. Yes, the Seahawks will win if they are able to get a good O-line push, and I think that they're getting better at it. While I did have my little spiel there against Anthony Bradford, I still think that you're running the ball at a higher clip. I mean, shoot, Kenneth Walker averaged over 8 yards a carry in the last game. You are going to be able to continue to do that, hopefully, against this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Now, where I think you are going to see an even bigger growth, because it just continues to grow every single week, that's in your passing ability. Right now, not receivers not named Jaxon Smith-Njigba week after week continue to get a little bit better, and a little bit better. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, he just takes big, gigantic steps forward every single week. He's great. But the emergence of A.J. Barner being a red zone threat has become huge for you. He's got more touchdowns than any tight end in his class. That includes Brock Bowers. You're seeing Tory Horton have big splashes when he can. And Cooper Kupp, Yakima's finest, when you need a big third down, he catches every single one of them. You're going to continue to see this passing attack of the Seahawks grow. Now, just be smart and don't turn the ball over. Can't have interceptions in this one because Jacksonville, they're going to take a lot of chances. That's what they're built on, creating turnovers. Max, what's up, dude? Good to see you. If Seattle made a trade, which is a position and who is a player of interest? Okay, offensive line-wise, if you could somehow get Aaron Brewer or Eric McCoy, the centers, Brewer is in Miami, McCoy is in New Orleans. If you could somehow get one of those two players from teams that are going to be in a clear fire sale because their teams are not very good at football, that would be fantastic. I don't know how you get those players, but when I talked about moving on from Anthony Bradford and clearly needing someone to come in and be better than them or better than Bradford, those are two guys who would immediately do that. They would be gigantic moves forward for you at the center spot, and then you could move Jalen Sundell over to the right guard spot. I don't know if you're going to be able to get them. I would love it. The other options are to go and call about the guards in Cleveland. That's Joel Bitonio, and that's Wyatt Teller. I don't want Joel Bitonio. It's not that he's not good. He's one of the best in the NFL right now. He's old as dirt. As an offensive lineman, late 30s. No offense, man. This is a team that they're not a guard away from winning a Super Bowl, so it doesn't make sense to make that trade. Teller, on the other hand, he's a little bit worse, but he's better than the options that you have right now. In fact, I still think he's a top 20 PFF graded guard in the NFL, and he's younger. So I'd really like to have him. So those are some targets that I would like on the offensive line. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit more focused on them over there. Brendan, what's up, man? Real one, hangs out every single day. Great Instagram follow as well. Hear me out. The defense is there for us. Baker knows how to throw the deep ball. Trevor IDK about. So I agree with you here on this aspect, but what Tampa did is I'll be interested to see if Jacksonville does this when they do take deep shots. What Tampa Bay did was they said, hey, we're going to keep an extra tight end into pass pro with us. We're going to keep running backs into pass pro with us. So most of the time that Baker was going to throw the ball deep, he had 6 to 7 pass blockers there for him. With Seattle only rushing 4, that allows you to basically double team every single player except for one. Pick the worst pass rusher out of the Seahawks, let them go one-on-one, or pick your best pass protection artist in the offensive line room and let them go one-on-one. Now, what I think Jacksonville will try and do is the same thing when they go deep. Will Seattle learn from the mistakes that they had against Tampa Bay? Mike McDonald said he didn't have a great game plan to combat a team keeping more pass pro in protection. Will Seattle now start bringing more blitzes? I think if you speed up Trevor Lawrence, he will make mistakes. He has 5 interceptions on the year. It's clear that at times he trusts his arm more than he should. I think Seattle, if you're able to force Trevor Lawrence to try and play hero ball, that's where you can get these interceptions. I still really like this defense. I think they need to get healthier, and I think they need to have a little bit better of a game plan on what to do if a team is able to counter their normal punch, which is just rushing for defensive linemen. Alexis, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Do you think Tory Horton possesses the potential to be a great player in this league? I'm going to quote offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. Clint Kubiak was asked what player in the NFL Tory Horton reminds him of. He sat there for a moment. He did one of these. He looked back at the mic, and he said, Justin Jefferson. Is that a fair comparison? No, of course it's not. But I like to believe it. I'm sure you like to believe it, Alexis. I think that Tory Horton has the opportunity, if he buys in and continues to grow in his role and grows to the potential of a role that he could play into, of being a great wide receiver in the NFL. He's really fast. He's really elusive. He needs to improve a little bit on his route running. He's got great hands. Can you continue to possess the football IQ that these great wide receivers have? Justin Jefferson knows when to cut off his route without being told. Justin Jefferson knows when to run a deep route, even though his route is called for maybe something over the middle. When you have a great receiver like a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, I mean, shoot, they said this about Chad Ochocinco all the time in Cincinnati. Those great receivers have a bunch of option routes. So they have 3 or 4 different things that they can do, and then they just go and find open space. Tory Horton is not there yet. If his route says, hey, man, you're running a 3-yard slant or a 5-yard slant, Tory Horton better run a 5-yard slant. But if he's able to get that football IQ up high and build that chemistry with his QB to the point where his quarterback's going to know what he's doing before he does it, I think you could see him really explode. There's a great tight end in the NFL right now in Kansas City that I don't think he's ran a route that's been called for him in like 7 years. But Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes know where the opening is going to be in a defense. And Travis Kelce just finds a way to get there. I'm not saying that that's how everybody should do it. But you can build that chemistry with the QB. If Tory Horton can do that, watch out. Seriously, watch out. He could become a great player. Swifty, what's up, man? Good to see you. How's it going? Ironic, I just talked about Travis Kelce. That's so funny. Score prediction. I think your Seahawks win. I think I had it at Seahawks 24, Jacksonville 21. I might have had it 24-17. Can't remember entirely. What I'll tell you is this. Seattle's going to need to score the football a couple times. Don't be shocked if the offense kind of has to carry the load again. Defensively, you're beat up. I think you're going to get a couple players back. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be at 100%. Doesn't mean you're going to get them back at all. So don't be shocked if, even though I had a lower score number, that it's even higher. On the bright side, Mike McDonald, 9-1 on the road as a head coach. So hopefully he keeps rising that number. Literally Michael Dixon. What up, dude? Hopefully I don't see you play a lot on Sunday. How nervous are you after the latest injury report? Frickin' nervous, man. Frickin' nervous. When you got 10 guys on it, that's not good. When you start the week with 10 guys on your injury report, that ain't good. And I don't know if you noticed this, 4 out of the 5 of those guys, they play defense. They play defense. I don't know if you noticed this when you look at this one. 4 out of the 5 of those guys play defense. Literally play defense. Now, Jaron Reed's going to play. He got a veteran day. But you look at that list, 8 of 10 defensive players. Your defense is beat up. They didn't look all that good. And you got kind of exposed against Baker Mayfield. I don't know that Trevor Lawrence can do the same things that Baker does, but I'll tell you right now, you got exposed. You need that defense to get healthy. You need him to get healthy fast. Here's our Week 6 matchup. Right now, Jacksonville, they are 4-1 on the season. Your Seattle Seahawks are 3-2. Honestly, should be 5-0. It's going to be an early one. 10 o'clock kick. Right now, Jacksonville is favored. It's a little bit higher of an over-under than I would have expected, but it's been back and forth on Seahawks being favored, Jacksonville being favored. I think Jacksonville should be favored in this one. I still think your Seattle Seahawks are going to be able to come away with the victory. Who you got? I got the Seahawks. I'm going down below right now in the comments, spamming C. If you got the Seahawks winning, you spam just like me and spam C. If you got Jacksonville winning this game, you can spam JAC. If you do that, just know I think you're wrong. Just know I think you're wrong, and that's okay. Make sure that you go in and you give this video a big thumbs up to help the Seattle Seahawks beat the Jacksonville Jaguars tomorrow. And until next time, I'll see you later. Awesome. Awesome. Absolutely love it. We got to 105. 105. That's awesome. 105 likes. I love it. Record-setting stream again. Love that. That is the most amount of likes that we have ever gotten on a Thursday live. That's because of you guys. That's because of you people coming in every single day. That's the 12s. That's the fans of Seahawks Today. I love and I appreciate every single one of you. That's freaking awesome, man. That's freaking awesome. I love it, man. 105. We got Ian spamming, Max spamming, the Seahawks fan, Jay spamming. What's up?
When we were in the middle of the cut,
yeah,
2 funny things happened. Somebody came in and said, the guy who's talking looks like Sam Darnold.
I do?
Yep. You got Sam Darnold.
He's a good-looking dude.
And then we found out that Alexis has a crush on J.J. Watt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think you put a lot of people in a crush. That's fantastic. Good for Alexis. Hey, I get it. Alexis, you steal J.J. Watt, I'll steal his wife. There we go. There we go. Or not. Maybe that's not what we do. Ian, come on. Come on, Ian. Come on. The Seahawks fans, of course. The Seahawks fans, of course. I want to say that I appreciate it. Oh, I couldn't figure out what that was saying. I want to say I appreciate it. Thank you to Reed for being here, running the show, doing a great job. Well, I was helping her out with JJ. That's what I was helping her out with. I want to say thank you, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to Reed for coming in. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and you come to our watch party. We're going to be live an hour before the game. So if you're on the West Coast, that means we're going to be live at 9. For Mountain Time, 10. If you're over here at Central Time, that means 11. And if you're on the East Coast, that means noon. Make sure that you tune in, hang out with us. We're going to have a great time chopping it up. If you can't go to the game, there's no better spot to be than Seahawks Today. Till next time, see you guys later. Peace.